Take your phone, your tablet, your favorite high-tech gadgets and get ready to throw them away, because best case, in a few years, you're going to need a new one. I get it. They get slow, they're outdated, the kids make fun of you. Trust me, I get it. But we've got two big problems, regardless of whether you are a technophobe or you are one of those weird people who's ready to camp out for a few days ahead of the latest iPhone release. First, less than 30% of the 2.5 million tons of electronics Americans discard every year is recycled. Second, the technology we are using and tossing relies on rare earth elements. Electronics, aerospace, alternative energy all depend on so-called rare earth elements. I'll tell you about those in a second. The only phone you use could still be hanging on the wall in your kitchen of your home, and even that one has rare earth elements. They're found in fluorescent lights, in earbuds, in batteries. Again, you're using up these rare earth elements, and the future supply of them is not guaranteed. Now, I am not saying that you want to be burning through your electronics so quickly. If you're yelling at your flat screen TV right now that things just aren't made the way they used to be, you're right. Take a look at this light bulb. It's been burning in a firehouse in Livermore since 1901. 114 straight years this light bulb has been working. Well, apart from several hours when the power supply from a battery died, this thing is working. This kind of longevity is exceptional. But why is it? The simple answer is profit. Apple posted the biggest quarterly profit in history in the final 3 months of 2014. The more often we replace devices, the greater Apple's profits. And that's especially true for all companies in this age of electronics. It's essentially, when it comes to electronics, a garbage economy that relies on us discarding our smartphones and computers just to keep pace with technology. And that is how most tech companies like it, because they're turning our tech garbage into gold. But those gains come at a cost. Electronic Recyclers picks up around 113,000 pounds of e-waste every week in New York City. It's just a fraction of the computers, TVs, and other electronics that end up in warehouses like this, where they're sorted, shredded, and recycled or discarded. According to the United Nations, up to 90% of the world's 41 million tons of e-waste is illegally dumped. And a lot of it ends up in landfills in Asia and Africa, where urban miners extract metals like gold and silver and toxic components like lead and mercury. But what's buried and lost are the so-called rare earth elements. They're found in devices like cell phones, earbuds, fluorescent lights, and speakers. Researchers at the Department of Energy's Ames laboratory are trying to find ways to replace rare earth elements and also to use them more efficiently. They say the reason they aren't recycled comes down to cost.
What you get from a mine costs a certain amount of money, and the price is reasonably reflective of the cost of actually producing it. The cost of getting the same amount of rare earth by recycling can be 10 times as much as the cost of getting it from a mine.
And even though scientists at Ames are getting closer to eliminating the rare earth elements in fluorescent bulbs, King says the problem is that in the future, demand could overtake supply.
As more and more of our lives become electrified, the demand for magnets will go up. We also see that the demand for efficient lighting will go up. This is going to drive the demand for rare earths up. And it's not clear that the supply can respond to that change in demand.
Currently, China supplies around 95% of the world's rare earth elements. Mining in the United States stopped in 2002 and was resumed in 2011. Though even when this California mine is producing at its goal output, it will still only account for about 15% of the world's supply.
Yeah, if you're able to wait until then.
Joe Silverman's business has been repairing electronics for 15 years. He's seen how frequent technological changes quickly lead to redundant devices.
These companies are not idiots. They know that you're going to be stuck at 32 gigs, 64 gigs. And if you want something that's bigger, well, the next model is going to come out next year. They're forcing you to buy new models every year, and they know that.
This is hardly a new marketing strategy. In 1924, a cartel of the world's major light bulb manufacturers agreed to limit light bulb life to 1,000 hours, almost half their normal life. It is the first established case of an industry intentionally limiting product longevity.
We at Chevrolet would like to speak with you about...
Also in the 20s, General Motors set out to increase sales by offering a new model every year. It worked. By 1931, the automaker had overtaken its rival, Ford, in sales. But today it's all about the electronics you hold in your hand.
So this is a new kind of phone. It's made of blocks.
What if there were other options, like smartphone modules that could be replaced or upgraded?
Sounds interesting, yeah. That does sound appealing.
Well, I'll see what it looks like in a few years. I'd definitely be interested to see if it holds up to the task.
Do you know what I think right away when I hear that? It's going to be ugly.
Puzzle phone is not ugly. Designed in Finland, the modular smartphone is due on the market in 2016.
What we want to achieve is to trigger a change in the manufacturer's mindset. So we think it's doable, feasible, financially viable to create this new kind of devices built to last and still profitable for everybody.
But electronics companies aren't slowing down production, and with that, rare earth element consumption. The top two smartphone manufacturers sold a total of almost 160 million devices in the last 3 months of last year.
If you expand the lifespan of the device 2 or 3 times more, at least you are slowing down the rhythm that you are extracting those materials from the earth. That's very likely that in the short to mid-term is the best solution that we can provide.
So it sounds like we should be bracing for a shortage of rare earth elements. I'm going to get a closer look at what that means for all of us after this break.